Hey guys, it's Cassandra Williams from Educational Innovation 360 back again. So let's talk about strategic leadership using video. To be honest, with video and voice, you could do so much from create your own avatar to really transform your school. So
I
hopefully
feel
in
it
this
in my
presentation, you'll get
soul,
to understand what I do to kind of provide asynchronous learning to my coaches or teachers, what I do to engage with social media, and how I can use multiple languages to communicate with the very people that I serve. So this is a crucial time because we are in a new era. We're talking about multimedia and how you are now reshaping the very students that you lead, because we're using voice and avatars
too
without
many vacancies,
losing
new teachers
our,
need support, schedules keep
recreational
changing, tech isn't ready,
conversation
and the
and
pressure to
tone.
show
We
results is
can
already
create
here.
our likeness and scale. So really thinking about how are you using right now human voice, avatars to scale your, and to amplify the things that you're saying every day. I don't have to tell you why it matters, but I do want you to know that your communication matters above everything. From expectations to looking at transparency, thinking about, how do we build that consistent culture and how do you constantly reinforce the things that you value, your vision, and then how are you saving time by duplicating yourself and created
How do they
repeated
expect me
messages.
to be
One
in
of
the
the things I
classrooms
like to
and run
do
the
is
daily
say happy
operations of the
birthday, but
school
I'll
building?
just say happy birthday
It's
to my
very
staff.
overwhelming.
I sing it. And so I have maybe 3 to 4 avatars, and I am singing happy birthday. And when they get it, I think it's a chuckle, a laugh, and then a dart to my office to kind of tell me how that made them feel. So really thinking about doing things different, giving your staff high touch points, and that of course improves your climate. And your stakeholder confidence that you really care about them. So remember we talked about kind of that trigger, right? What's that one thing that sets things off? Think of that in not only like forms for like field trips, but all these use cases can be automated. So when we think about that, we think about how our school leaderships, even video can be automated. So if you currently now, I have blogs that are going out every 2 weeks. I've already pre-programmed the blogs based on my culture, based on current trends that I always see happening during that time, and based on the seasonal waves and ebbs and flows, like happy, what are the celebrations during that time. So with that, I've already have my blog scheduled out for next year. So just think of that. When we think of video, how can we already have a lot of our videos scheduled out for the year because we know everybody's birthday already? Okay. And so I say that because when I'm introducing asynchronous learning, I'm introducing these triggers for these workflows. I want you to really think effectively on how we can be consistent on some of these models, from connecting to our other leaders in the building to thinking about what does our weekly spotlight look like. And now with our weekly spotlight, with our teacher spotlight, you really have to be strategic at that. So what I would do is I would like pre-record 3 or 4 of them and then start dripping them. And so when I record 3 more of them, then I can pretty much have it done until May. And so I can pretty much have everybody done at a certain time and just drip them. So teachers don't know when they're coming out, but when they do, it's just a joy, even though they probably recorded it back in August sometime. So thinking about family, how do we keep families engaged? And I keep saying, things continue to happen the same every year. So it's kind of like we know October, we know that Halloween season where it's festive and some of the teachers are kind of getting, weary because they're waiting for the break coming up in Thanksgiving, right? Really, these times because they happen every year. So find ways to provide monthly engagements, maybe with families, thinking about the staff culture, welcome back celebrations. I remember I did an introduction. It was phenomenal to me. But I presented, but I had my Hey Jen avatar actually speak to people and introduce me, right? Imagine me coming on the stage to talk, but my avatar gave my bio before I actually walked in. Right. And so those type of things really blow people away and get people so pumped and super excited about what they're going to learn. Why is this relevant? Why is this important? But I encourage you to try some of those things because they are really fun. And then think about student voice. How can you get students into the fold? Maybe you're interviewing students. Maybe other students are interviewing students. Maybe students are creating semi-quasi avatars, right? And so thinking about what are you doing? How are you helping them with captions, with how do we edit videos, okay? And so when we're thinking about a lot of these use cases, we're thinking about, okay, here's what our videos may look like. What is the rubric that needs to be around our videos? And I never do videos longer than 5 minutes. I try to keep it under 3 minutes, but I do 3 to 5 minutes, but I try to keep my videos under 3 minutes, little small snippets of content. So I say, okay, what is the kind of hot pain point introduction? What are they going to learn? And this is for like if I'm using it as a teaching tool for my staff. What are they going to learn? A quick introduction, of overview on what it looks like, and then, a summary of next steps, like what I want to see implemented in the classroom or what I want to see them try, right? And so thinking about how do we create these rubrics for every part of our educational industry to provide for either our teachers or our AP to duplicate this idea and expand on these concepts. Okay, so we already know that everybody's using voice, from Google Translator to putting their voice on different characters. I've seen that in so many occasions, right? So thinking about, as a leader, what is your function and what is your usage, whether it be automatic reminders, a workflow to remind you of testing season, or a workflow that reminds you of upcoming IEPs for the next 3 months, right? And so these workflows not only remind you, but it reminds all the people on the team who needs to be involved, have people done their due diligence in their part on the agenda, right? I think the world is endless when it comes to ways you can use AI voice, whether it be a friendly voice reminder or you just say happy birthday through voice for people, whether it be morning announcements, student, advocate, student voice, and then, thinking about the school message that goes out, and not only that goes out in the primary language that you speak, but also in the probably 17 to 18 different languages at your school at one time, right? And in your tone and likeness. We have the ability to do so many things. And so hopefully this kind of opens up this can of worms, and you're planning and you're collaborating with your team and saying, hey, give me some use cases. What can we try, and start small? Now, every time I do this, I always have to go back to just watch out. Be careful about racial implications, a misrepresentation of language, and always get feedback on if you're getting something translated. I mean, this reminds me of when I did a PD in Los Angeles. One of the concerns was, parents, they don't even read the translated version, so why translate, right? And so when we finally ask a couple of parents to see why, what's wrong with our translated version, and they were like, what is this? Like, we don't use this academic jargon when we're speaking in conversation, so we don't even know what these terms mean. And so that was like really an eye opener on like looking at, okay, we were using basic communication, but it was in our educational
I love
jargon.
my
So what do we have
students.
to do to
Happy
communicate
birthday to you.
effectively to
I love
families?
my
And how can we
students.
do it in the
Happy birthday
language
to you.
that they, are using on an everyday basis? So in that case, we had to kind of watch out for some of the things that we were doing. But I say this because when we're changing the language. We have to kind of be weary of what image is portrayed, and then what is the language, and then what is the dialect, what is the region, right? And so just be wary of that. And so we want to continue to maintain, our purpose, and we want to kind of use it as a support. We don't want it to replace us, but we want it to bring joy to people as well. And then again, sure, our voice aligns with our values and our tone, of course, with compliance is important. And then real language, right? Human support. So I like to do some things as avatar only, and I like to do some things as avatar plus my voice, and then I like to do some things as my voice, a different avatar to switch it up.
So I'm going to click on this icon, and then from here you can select the doc type you prefer. I'm gonna go for a landscape mode video, so I'm clicking here, and this is going to take me directly to the editor. Once in the editor, you are going to add a new text box. So you can either go to the left panel to the text section and add a text box from here, or the shortcut to create a new text box is the key T. Once you have this text box, you are going to double click so you can access the text inside, and here you'll type the text you want to convert into voice. Once you have your text ready, you are going to make sure to select the text box to access this tiny menu right here. Then click on Magic Write, which is going to open another menu. And from here, you will see the new option, Generate AI Voice. Click here, and then you'll see that you have your text in this box. If you want to enter extra text, you can do it from here. And then from here, you'll be able to select the voice you want to use. So I have these 4 different options. 2 of them are available for Canva Pro users. So you'll see that they have a little crown, but these 2 are completely free to use. So here we have English, United States. Let me show you the 2 options in English. We have Lisa.
This voice was generated in Canva for free.
Again, this is just an example
I love my students.
of,
Happy
I
birthday
love my
to you.
students. Happy birthday.
Quiero
And then I
mucho a
put
mis
it in a different
estudiantes.
language so the
Feliz cumpleaños a ti.
can say it in a different language. Remember, this is just only voice. Which brings me to one of my favorite voiceovers. Now, I don't use voiceover much. It used to be to where you're using this tool for this and this tool for this. But right now, I think with VO3, you're starting to get great voice and clear voice. So you don't have to necessarily always use your voice. And you can use a different avatar, right? So you are the director and you are kind of dictating what you want to see in the role. But with 11 Labs, I can use my voice and put it on any image, right? And so I've been playing a little with that. That's fun. I've been, an animal sound before. And so really being able to play with 11 Labs is a real joy. And it's just interesting to see what you come up with. So in 11 Labs, what I would like to do, sometimes I would like to kind of create images of me. I can change the image of me, and then I can do a voice image. I can do a voice plus image and say, put it together, make sure I'm blinking.
Hey guys, it's Cassandra Williams from Educational Innovation 360. Super excited. We have 1,000 subscribers. If you are a teacher, a coach, or an administrator, definitely subscribe to us. Talk to you later. Bye.
Put my logo on my chest, and then have the voice sing or have the voice talk, have the voice say this, right? And so now we are, like I said, able to take voice, take image, and put them together into one. You're also starting to see like little fun videos. So I made this really cute videos. I took this out of 11 Labs to make a baby sound. So I said, hey guys, it's Cassandra Williams, and they made it sound like a baby. And so I took this adult image of me and said, create a baby image of myself, and put it in a studio to make it look like they're in a podcast, and then make sure I'm tapping my feet and waving my hands and blinking so it looks realistic. And then I use my voice, I change my voice to a baby and use my image and change my image to a child. So it just shows you the different things that you could do to pull all these tools together. Now, with avatars have come a long way. So you could use so many things with your avatar. Like I said, there's so many different use case scenarios, I've used an avatar to, have a parent orientation, to just a quick little introduction. I use my avatar. Like I said, little fun little ways, 2 to 3 minutes introduction. Like, hey guys, I bet you thought Cassandra was going to be here. Nope, this is her avatar. How are you doing today? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And then I actually come in, right? And so really finding creative ways to do like staff follow-ups. I did an avatar, like follow up with this person, like, hey, were you able to turn in that document? And they were like, Cassandra, I got in your email an avatar saying to turn in the document. That was weird, right? And I think right now we're saying it's weird, but I think they're like, most interesting, they're like, how did you do that, right? And so they want to know because, like I said, I'm learning along with my team. And so thinking about micro learning, like I said, that is one of the things I wholeheartedly believe in is supporting my teachers with asynchronous learning, with micro learning, 3 to 5 minute videos. And then, student safety reminders. I've had avatars playing in the hall, saying, hey, slow down. And so there's really so many cool things you could do, kid-friendly to represent behavior norms, guides on different things, different pathways for students. So teachers are using avatars to pre-record content. They're using maybe Canva, Loom, and Synthesia to create content for their students. Now, I'm a big fan of Synthesia. Synthesia is true video creation. So if you're looking to really dive into video creation, and for the cost, I think it's like $39 a month, is a great cost to kind of mass produce videos that you want to either retrain, like retool your teachers or train your teachers. And what makes it so great is you can use different languages. You can use different avatars. You don't have to use your own avatar. So Synthesia is amazing to direct your own film, direct your own videos without the heavy over cost. So I want you to think about our roadmap. I want you to think, what is your roadmap? What are some things that you're willing to do, willing to try? I'm a coach at heart, and that's all I, make sure I do. And I want to make sure that you kind of identify, this is kind of how I start. You got to identify some of the things that are repetitive. What are some of the like workflows that you're always doing? What are the emails that you're always making? What are the constant updates that you always have to have? And then kind of choose your tool, choose your voice, choose your channel to pilot. And then always start with research. That's why I was hesitant to show you kind of basic, just basic chats or basic generated content, because I wanted you to first start with research, right? And so when we're creating our scripts, it's based on research. And so what is your script? Makes you pre-do your script, your messaging, then you create your templates, and then you can launch. So to make my first video, it took about I want to say, because it was a little difficult and I had to figure out where the tools were and then had to figure out how to generate the video, it took about a good hour to make my first video. And most of the time didn't come from writing the script. Most of the time came from, okay, I want these words to come in here. I want this image here. I want the avatar to say it here. But then the next slide, I want the avatar to be gone. And then the next slide, I want the avatar to be big focus screen. So really thinking about that piece was what took me the most of the time, like what I wanted it to look like versus what I wanted to say. Because I already knew the research on what I wanted to say, and I knew what sounded right, what didn't, because we're in education. But when you're actually doing the thing and creating it, that's, I think, what takes so long. So here are some use cases. I don't want you to think that you're out here doing it by yourself, right? And so there's a middle school in Florida. If you want to know the individual schools, let me know. But there's a middle school in Florida. They're using video in newsletters. Love it. I've even seen GIFs in newsletters where at the top there's a header and then there's like celebration or happy fingers or like confetti being thrown, right? And so there's like animation. And sometimes when you have short video clips in your content, people are more likely to click or more likely to engage in your content. And so what I tend to do is create the videos on 𝐶𝐭𝐧 or �hey Gen. Then I move it to YouTube and just upload on YouTube and then make sure I put the link in my newsletter with the image so they can just click on the image and it goes to the YouTube video and opens in a different tab. And I know that seems like, oh my goodness, it's a lot, but sometimes some people don't have the kind of back-end system like I do that will host video content that will allow people to look at videos inside of content. So there's a school in Indiana, local school, literally in Indiana, that's doing cool things. They have AI-powered safety measures. Remember, so here is the video and then being able to identify some of the people in the school. So like I said, there's pros and cons to all of that. Again, when you have these things in your school, what are the ramifications of the students they are watching and who owns the data, right? I keep coming back to that because right now it's like, ooh, AI, everybody go. But then like we kind of did that with phones and then we kind of backed up and was like, ooh, everybody's kind of addicted to technology, right? And so thinking of all these kind of cool things that are happening, in Texas, they're really rolling out videos and AI voice in scholarships. Now a lot of the scholarships going into college are requiring an interview, a video interview, to get a lot of scholarships. And then, of course, in California, dual language voice memos. Oh my God. When I lived in Los Angeles for 11 years, we were kind of just talking about how to increase access to our families. And then to have AI be an asset to, families is big. So this is another opportunity for families to communicate, and as well as us to communicate more effectively with families. Now, I don't have to say why does it matter. Of course, it helps in education. It humanizes it, builds trust, all the things, thinking about briefings that you could do, the celebrations you can highlight, the real example supports with the walkthrough feedback, which is what I do, which is the video coaching and the feedback. It helps principals highlight extraordinary teachers. I can literally come in the room and be like, oh man, that's kind of cool. Take a quick video. Then I could do a voiceover.
My mentor told me not to smile until Christmas.
But I can make sure that, okay,
how am I going to get to know my students if I'm not smiling?
I have to do this for everybody and kind of point out what are the highlights to all of my teachers. And so if this is something I'm going to take on, I'm going to go full out. I'm not just going to show my one teacher that does something special. And so I have to always find the good in all teachers. So I'm always looking for great things and I'll show the teacher and I'll show kind of what I want to highlight. And then I'll do a voiceover to reinforce kind of some of the things that I saw in the video that I think other people should kind of adopt or listen to. Or if you want to know more, go see that teacher. Of course, I always like to put this prompt in here, right? Who am I? I'm a videographer of a director of over 20 years. Who's my target audience? My target audience is K-12 or elementary teachers. What are you trying to create? I'm trying to create a 3 to 5 minute video script in the school in, I can say August or September to get them started out with the beginning of the year. And then like why, like what's the problem? Because I want to celebrate great things that teachers are doing. And at the beginning of the year, classroom routines are crucial. Seating charts and classroom routines are crucial. So I'm going to start dripping this asynchronous drip out on classroom routines. And then how's your tone? This is a training and make it professional, right? And so when you think of all these prompts, you have to continuously ebb and flows with the things that you want to do based on the prompt. Now, of course, again, now the reason why I have this slide, because I want you to continue, you have to model growth mindset. You have to fail in front of people. You have to not be afraid to do the things, not be successful, and try again the next day. You have to initiate collaborative learning. If you're not trying, they're not trying. You have to continuously have professional development. Teachers are tired. And so thinking of what are you going to do for professional development? Who are the teachers that are helping you lead this initiative? And then continuously monitor and highlight great things that are happening in your building while celebrating them. So it brings me to this, your AI roadmap. Before the end of these classes, I want to make sure you have an AI roadmap. I have provided in the download, I will make sure I give you access, your AI roadmap of some of the biggest tech companies in the industry and what they're doing. And I want you to do a little more digging. But before you dig and kind of pick and choose all the cool things that's happening, all the tools, you got to have a goal. You have to have a SMART goal, a vision of what you want to do, what you want to implement. And then based on what you want to implement, pick that tool or try tools in that area that you want to see growth. Just like we said, if you want to save time, you're not going to do, like, you may not do the hall monitoring safety video camera, because how is that going to help you save time, right? It may help you get to incidents faster in the school, but you always have to start with a goal. What is your goal, and how do we include that into like some of our mission and vision statements? How do we start the propaganda mill so more teachers are saying the thing? How do we look at some of the strategies and priorities? How do we list our action steps, what we're going to do and try? And how do we celebrate and highlight wins? Last week is a perfect example of highlighting wins. So, okay, if we are starting this teacher spotlight, then of course I'm going to have a PDF pamphlet printed out at the front office to show the teachers that have been highlighted and what tech they're using in their classroom. It only makes sense. Of course, I'm going to take that same PDF and put it on LinkedIn and tag teachers, or put it on my social media and tag teachers, or put the image for other people to download online. And so I can make a count. Oh my goodness, last month, maybe 6 people downloaded the PDF of their teacher at their school of the things that they're doing in their classroom. But this month, I had 700 downloads. We are making gains of informing people of the great work that we are doing inside of our school, right? And so thinking of these different ways where we can promote our school, promote our teachers, highlight the great work that's happening in our very buildings. Again, what you see is AI getting better and better by the minute. So it used to be where, like, okay, Chat and Gemini were kind of fighting with like imagery and things like that. But VO kind of adopted, I think it's called Nano Banana, a phenomenal imaging tool. So it creates great images. So if you wanted to have that professional office look, you can definitely do that in Gemini. And they have VO3, which is a video tool, which again, to be the director, but now in Synthesia, you are kind of developing.
So when you're planning that lesson, think about how you can scaffold it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like professional, like
what about for differentiation?
PowerPoint presentations with avatars. With VO3, you are actually directing a film. So you're saying, in this script, I want this to happen. I want these people to walk down the hall. I want to be a diverse group. And so here we go. We have a coach or a principal that's informing the coaches on what she wants to see in the building. And on the next one, you have a video of a principal kind of stating, man, I don't know if I want to come back to the school next year, right? And so many times you can't get people to be transparent in education. They will, but not in front of a camera. So this is great to kind of reinforce some of the things that educators are thinking, but they can't say.
My name is Cassandra Williams,
this was
and I
my
am the
first
founder
time with
and
the
CEO
HeyGen
of
avatar.
Educational
I was
Innovation
able to
360,
use their
where we
voice
believe that
and my
sustainable change
likeness.
in education
So this
begins
is
with
my
intentional
likeness with
innovation.
somebody else's
Educational
voice. It's a really
Innovation
cool
360
thing.
was created to
Once you
empower
generate the
schools,
video,
educators,
then
and
it
organizations
matches your
to
mouth
reimagine
up
how we
to
teach,
what
lead,
you're
and grow.
saying in
Our mission is
what I've
simple:
typed
to support
to what I want
education
to say.
systems in becoming more inclusive, effective, and future ready. We specialize in 3 core areas. 1, professional learning and development. We design dynamic, data-informed training experiences for teachers, school leaders, and district teams. Our sessions go beyond theory. They're practical, engaging, and tailored to your unique context. 2, strategic consulting and school transformation. Whether it's redesigning instructional models, launching equity initiatives, or streamlining systems, we work side by side with school communities to implement sustainable, high-impact change. 3, innovation labs and thought leadership. We facilitate creative spaces for problem solving and innovation, bringing educators together to explore fresh ideas, pilot new models, and shift mindsets. Because innovation in education doesn't happen in isolation, it happens in community. What sets us apart is our commitment to 360-degree support. That means we're not just focusing on one piece of the puzzle, we look at the full picture. From classroom culture and curriculum design to leadership coaching and community engagement, we provide the wraparound support needed for true transformation. At Educational Innovation 360, we don't offer one-size-fits-all solutions. We co-create them with you. So whether you're navigating change, addressing challenges, or dreaming big for your students and staff, we're here to be your thought partner, your guide, and your advocate. Let's build what's next in education together. Thank you.
Here's a mini video comparing 𝐤𝐤𝐤 to 𝐶ynthesia𝐤. So they're like the same but not. So one is phenomenal with like PowerPoint presentations with avatars, and then the other one is phenomenal with your avatar functioning on its own. Right? So imagine you created this avatar and you kind of, remember I told you about the workflows and the trigger, you've created a trigger to where if somebody speaks, the avatar stops and then records what you said, goes into Notion, which is the second brain. I don't know if you remember from the first lesson, Notion, which is the second brain, and tries to find the content. Once it finds the content, it spits out the content on what you want it to say, right? And so thinking of like, wow, what if I had on our education, our website, chatbot that came up as me as a principal. It said, hey, are you looking to enroll in our school? And then they say, yeah, what do I have to do to enroll? Like, tell us your name. And they say their name, and then it records. And it keeps a document, right? The workflow in the back is documenting and keeping the document as a Excel spreadsheet, and has their name, has their email, has their phone number, has their address, and then the human component can follow up, or the next trigger on their workflow is an email that goes out to them to have them fill out a actual form with their information on a Google spreadsheet. And after the Google spreadsheet is sent, then it triggers to go to somebody else for approval, right? And so really being creative with these workflows, and that's why it's important that you know how all this connects. Here's the video that I created. I hope you like it. I hope you were able to create something similar. This is the one, my first one, it took me about an hour to do. Now, granted, most of the hour, like I said, wasn't the research. The hour was trying to figure out what did I want the avatar to do, what I wanted to say, when did I want it to scroll over. But now with 𝐤𝐤𝐤 and 𝐶ynthesia𝐤 has pre-made templates. So all you have to do is put in the content and it will create something, and then you say yes, I like it, or no, and then you adjust it to your liking. Now, here are some other tools that are available, but here's the one I use the most, Veo 3. In video, I don't use so much. 𝐶ynthesia𝐤, I use a lot, especially when it comes to professional presentations with great avatars. Sora has just launched Sora 2, which is really phenomenal. Like some of the things I'm seeing out there, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And then, of course, 𝐤𝐤𝐤 I've used before. So when it comes to content, I try to switch between 𝐤𝐤𝐤, 𝐶ynthesia𝐤, VEO3, and then Sora, which I just downloaded, which like the picture quality is just amazing. Now, this I usually don't try to include, but I'm going to give you a little secret. Shh, don't tell anyone. No, I'm joking. So this little secret is kind of my little fave. It's called Opus Clips, right? And so Opus Clips is kind of an editing app. Sometimes you're like, oh, I don't want to edit this video. Oh my God, it's going to take that long. So Opus Clips does a phenomenal job kind of taking SEO algorithms of different social media and saying what's important, what's trending. And so many times I'm recording long form. So I might do a whole presentation on, diversity in the classroom, like culturally relevant pedagogy in the classroom, or I can do one on leadership and how leadership is transforming. And so I'll do me talking for like 15 minutes or going over a PowerPoint presentation, but I'm the talking head, they call it. And so I will, instead of me editing and taking different clips, I can put in Opus Clip, and Opus Clip will take it, it will caption it, and then it will put it on all of my social media platforms. And what makes this amazing is not only will it put it on all my platforms, but it will also make sure the characters fit Twitter, make sure the characters formatted for LinkedIn, make sure the captions go with my mouth, and they will also deploy out to the social media at a certain time. So when you're like, Cassandra, gosh, I have people come up, let me to be honest, I have people come up to me every day like, man, you must have a lot of money because you are putting out content every day. And they're right. I put out a video every single day. And that is Opus Clips. Literally. So I have my videos all done for the next 2 months on Opus Clips. And it is what it is, right? And so there are other apps out there like that, but I want to encourage you to think of things when you're batch producing content, especially like if you have this video, a spotlight video of a teacher, and it's maybe 15 minutes, that's at least 7 mini clips that you can put on your Instagram. And remember your workflow, and you can spew it out. So for example, if you have 7 videos from that one 15-minute interview of your teacher spotlight, I can schedule it for Thursday, I can schedule it for Saturday, I can schedule it for next Tuesday, I can schedule it for 2 weeks from now. And then I have batch sent it out. So the trigger is, oh, it's Thursday, ding. Remember we talked about what's the trigger? The trigger is the day of the week. Once that day of the week comes, it goes ding, it deploys to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and everybody kind of gets to see it. It also is a trigger to say, okay, after you sent it to the social media post, send it to the emails because all of our teachers want to see clips of who made the spotlight list. And then it's another trigger. Okay, it goes in the newsletter. Make sure you put it on this document. And so really thinking about the power of workflows and the power of video and the power of mini clips sent to all your social media at once. And what are you doing? Nothing. Because you did the work already. You did the front loading. That brings me to JotForm. JotForm, I want to say, if you do not have a formal system in place, JotForm is a way to try, right? I always like to have these free tools to try so you can kind of understand the concepts. And once you understand the concepts, then you can kind of work with somebody to kind of build some really robust systems inside of your LMSs. So your learning management systems, many times they have tools inside of them to where they can help you build workflows with your IT team. So I encourage you to do that. But for now, JotForm is good because it shows you how to create a workflow. It shows you the possibility, and it shows you other people's workflow. Now, the downside to that, the caveat to that is the saying in entrepreneurship, the saying in anything is, if you are not paying for the product and it's free, then you are the product, right? So whatever you probably create, it gets duplicated, and other people on this side, as you see, can use whatever workflow that you made. Okay. And so I'm also thinking like, hey, it's free, so I don't know if I want to put really important information connected to this as well. But with that being said, free is a great way to start. But once you learn it, I strongly encourage you to kind of use whatever tool you're using your LMS to think about developing workflows that will be consistent over time and other people can use it over time in your organization. Okay, I know it's time. I hope you enjoyed this. This is your kind of activity, which I hope you definitely do, thinking about what is a workflow. Go to Jot, look at some of the workflows that they have available. 2, select one of the video voice and try it. And I would start with something as a low lift as like 11 Labs. You go to 11 Labs, you record your voice, and then you pick another avatar, pick Dan, and Dan will say what you said, hopefully in the intonation that you said it. That's a fun way. Or you could just download your own voice. But like I said, you can use your phone to download your voice. But just thinking of different things that you can do, pick one and try. And then, of course, I encourage you to draft a script. Get comfortable talking on camera. You have so much information to give. You can start off with recording yourself and doing Opus Clip, and then like sending it out to multiple drip campaigns, workflows. And then last but not least, I encourage you to research 1 to 2 tools on your AI roadmap, because I do believe that this is going to be the future of AI. These AI tools in education, these ed tech companies, as soon as we're in the bell curve right now, we're in the not many people want to know AI. They don't feel like it's irrelevant. They feel like it's irrelevant. It's not important to what we're working on, what we're doing. It's not important to society yet. Kids are, whatever. Kids are using it, but we don't have to use it. We're in that beginning phase. Eventually, we're going to start to move in the bell curve where it goes up and oh my God, we need to do it. We need to retool. We need to restructure, upskill, because we are becoming dangerously irrelevant. When it comes to that, you will be ready. So, hope you enjoy. Talk to you later.